Welcome back to the Arise interview. I'm Charles Aniagolu. Now to the UK and a scandal that's causing waves 25 years on. Prince William has launched a scathing attack on the BBC over how it obtained a TV interview with his mother, Princess Diana, by the former reporter Martin Bashir. An independent inquiry has lambasted the journalist for mocking up documents to get the scoop and criticised the BBC investigation into the interview. And there appears to be little sign of drawing the line under this, with a government minister raising the question of reforms at the publicly funded corporation. We'll talk about all that in a moment, but first to the Duke of Cambridge, who made a rare statement to the press in reaction to the results of the inquiry.
I would like to thank Lord Dyson and his team for the report. It is welcome that the BBC accepts Lord Dyson's findings in full, which are extremely concerning. That BBC employees lied and used fake documents to obtain the interview with my mother, made lurid and false claims about the royal family, which played on her fears and fueled paranoia, displayed woeful incompetence when investigating complaints and concerns about the programme, and were evasive in their reporting to the media and covered up what they knew from their internal investigation. It is my view that the deceitful way the interview was obtained substantially influenced what my mother said. The interview was a major contribution to making my parents' relationship worse and has since hurt countless others. It brings indescribable sadness to know that the BBC's failures contributed significantly to her fear, paranoia, and isolation that I remember from those final years with her. But what saddens me most is that if the BBC had properly investigated the complaints and concerns first raised in 1995, my mother would have known that she had been deceived. She was failed not just by a rogue reporter, but by leaders at the BBC who looked the other way rather than asking the tough questions.
Prince William, the Duke of Cambridge and eldest son of Princess Diana. Well, for more on this, I'm joined now from London by Arise correspondent Judita DaSilva. Good to see you, Judita. Almost incredibly sad, and brings back all those memories 25 years ago and subsequently. How unprecedented is it for the heir to the throne, or any senior member of the royal family for that matter, to publicly attack the BBC? I mean, ultimately, the BBC operates under a royal charter, and the Queen is boss. So very serious indeed.
Yeah, that is correct, because you have to see the mechanics. There's a very contorted, convoluted symbiosis that the royals have with the BBC. There's an unspoken understanding that they work in tandem, even when there is conflict. Because when you think of everything from the royal weddings to the Queen's address every Christmas, to Queen's speeches, to her when she goes to the Houses of Parliament, it's covered by the BBC. When the royals go on tour, it's all covered by the BBC. So there's an understanding that there's a respect that must be honored, and there's a way they must be treated, and in return, there are certain perks that the BBC gets. But when you see what William has done, and also Harry from America has also released a statement, they've done it the right way. They're not attacking the BBC. They're commenting on an independent inquiry into the actions of the BBC. So they can stand on the platform, on a sturdy platform, that Prince William is reacting to the result of Lord Dyson's report. As opposed to attacking the BBC, he is concurring with findings that have been found by an independent investigator. So within that space, as long as he occupies that space, there is no violation of the unspoken understanding between the BBC and the royals.
So tell us more about what the inquiry actually said. I understand there were several strands to it.
Yeah. So Lord Dyson, who was the former Master of the Rolls, that's the second highest position of a judge in the judicial system in Britain. So this is how serious this was taken. What he said is a very key point. They investigated the actual interview and what was done by Martin Bashir when he commissioned those fake bank statements, which implied to Diana that royals had been paying off members of the courtiers around Earl Spencer to give stories about Diana and leak them to the media. And so the media was bribing people within her circle, which she was paranoid was happening anyway. He investigated the actions of Martin Bashir. Then he also investigated the investigation, because what had happened is when they secured the Diana interview for BBC Panorama in 1995, the natural flow of events is all the media outlets wanted to know, how did you get it? When you see what happened with Oprah and Meghan Markle getting that interview, everyone from Diane Sawyer to Anderson Cooper, they're asking, how did you get it? It's what happens. But then they were very cagey and they couldn't be specific, because you never pay the royals for an interview. So what did you tell Diana? How did you get Diana? They were cagey. And then complaints were raised by other media outlets. Then Tony Hall, who was the Director General of the BBC at the time, then he oversaw an internal investigation, which Lord Dyson in his report called woefully ineffective and was part of the cover-up. That was the problem, because what they found out is that what Martin Bashir had done was deceitful, and their investigation into that deceit was woefully ineffective, and therefore a serious breach of the editorial guidelines that the BBC is meant to uphold. And he said, without justification, the BBC fell short of the high standards of integrity that are normally a hallmark of the institution.
So in a manner of speaking, a right royal mess then for the BBC. And of course, this was 25 years ago when the interview took place, but that statement from Prince William, as well as one from his brother Harry, was aimed at the BBC today. What's been the BBC's reaction to all that?
The BBC has said that the current Director General, Tony Davey, has issued an unabashed, a categorical apology. They do still stand firm that Princess Diana was interested in doing an interview with the BBC, but the process by which they got the interview was wrong. And I know that they've said that Tony Davey had actually written personal letters to Prince Charles, Prince William, and Prince Harry to personally apologize for what had happened. This was before his time, because the Director General back then was Lord Burt, who didn't know about this because Tony Hall was conducting the investigation that was the cover-up. And then Tony Hall, back in 2016, brought back Martin Bashir to the BBC as religion editor, which he resigned from last week on the day that this report was released. So the BBC is holding their hands up and saying that what was done was wrong. And even Lord Grey, who was chairman of the BBC from 2004 to 2006, that he said that Martin Bashir's actions were bad, but what was worse was a cover-up at the BBC, because if this was a pattern of behavior, there are problems that need to be investigated in the way they conduct journalism.
Well, beyond sounding lugubrious and being apologetic, I mean, how is the BBC assuring the British people that this will not happen again? Because, I mean, this is asking questions about the corporation's integrity and transparency, isn't it?
Absolutely, because when you think of the BBC, it's not like ITV or Channel 4, they're beholden to the people. They're run by TV licenses paid for by taxpayers. So they're answerable to the people. And there has been widespread condemnation of this interview. And when you look at the trickle effects, they won multiple awards, including a BAFTA for this interview. Because of that, they got Michael Jackson. Because of that, they got Michael Barrymore. It was a knock-on effect. They have now returned every award they won for the interview. They will never air it again. And they've said that they categorically apologize. All the people who were involved in that no longer work at the BBC. And this is a line in the sand to say that this kind of practice will never happen again. And they swear to uphold the transparency that they purport to always hold dear. And that is something that they're going to be more stringent about going forward, particularly with such high-profile interviews, if they secure them.
But of course, for the BBC, I mean, it's all right to say you're sorry, but I mean, this is an absolutely disastrous stumble, isn't it? And I mean, it's been coming under increasing criticism in recent times, and lots of people sharpening their knives against the corporation. We've got 30 seconds.
I think what's going to happen is going to be actions need to prove it's better than words, because we've seen that even Harry has said the practice of deceit and exploitation is something that is even happening now. Maybe this, because Diana is held so dear, will be the beginning of change. So with her legacy, yet again, she will be a benchmark within the history of Britain, this time in the way journalism executed.
Judita, thank you ever so much. Judita DaSilva, our correspondent there, talking to me from London. That's it for this edition of the Arise interview. Join us again tomorrow. From me and the entire team here in Abuja, Accra and London, bye-bye and thank you for watching.